Now, if you thought that the static tests pushed the teams to their limits, well, think again. Yes, the technical inspections just shifted up a gear. Beginning with the figure of 8 test, which, as the name implies, has each buggy performing a figure of 8 on a chalk-marked course. The test helps ensure that the steering systems of these small buggies function properly.
You have to do a figure of 8 on that, and you have to stay within the limits of the track.
It's quite difficult, but if the steering geometry is right, you can conquer it easily.
Next up is braking. Drivers are required to set off on command and build up speed on a straight track. Being asked to slam the brakes and come to a full stop within the braking zone. Besides braking distance, judges also check if all the 4 brakes are functioning and working together. It's paramount that all wheels lock when the driver hits the pedal.
When the brakes are applied panically, all the wheels of the car should stop at once. The car must skid, but for a small distance. What we do is, the car is accelerated for a distance of 55 to 60 meters. It should attain a speed of 35 to 40 kilometers. And then it has to be applied brakes, and the car should stop.
Next up are the dynamic tests, beginning with the popular acceleration test that's used to determine the running order for the final endurance race.
The acceleration test we conduct on the flat surface, and it should be straight, which is 150 feet in the length. So we have installed 2 signal indicators that is based on the beam. So first beam and second beam, one at the 0 feet and another at the 150 feet. So we measure the distance, that is 150 feet. And now we measure with this help of the instrument, we measure the time taken for the vehicles. This gives us and helps us to grade the vehicles in a lineup for the endurance test. So graded position like 1, 2, 3, 4 up to 110, which will be decided on these best timings.
Following acceleration is the test for maneuverability. The track looks easy, yet it's hardly but. Losing concentration and making a mistake has immediate consequences, as knocking over a ball, breaking a stick, or going off course gets 10 seconds added to the team's score.
The maneuverability test includes sharp turns and it tests our speed as well as the good steering ability. It is mainly a steering test and the most important thing, a proper driver.
Teams are also required to clear a Hillclimb Test. Faced with a 26-degree incline, the strategy for most teams is to lay down some rubber and power up the slope.
Hillclimb, which the main challenge is that reduce the weight till 200 kgs and they use the greater suspension stability. You can go for Fox suspension. Then the Hillclimb can be made very much easier.
We definitely performed well because of CVT tuning. This time we have done CVT tuning. We have the Comet CVT with us, and this time gradient 26 degrees. So according to that, we have tuned our CVT, and we prepared well for this. We had a very great testing at our event.
Still, there were a few who found themselves rolling backwards.
हिल क्लाइंब पिछली बार से काफ़ी टफ था और हमने हिल क्लाइंब के लिए काफ़ी इम्प्रूव किया है। पिछला हमारा रिवर्स ओरिएंटेशन ट्रांसमिशन था, उसको हमने फॉरवर्ड ओरिएंटेशन में कन्वर्ट किया, जिससे हमारी मैक्स स्पीड बढ़ी है, थोड़ा एक्सेलरेशन भी इंक्रीज़ हुआ है। तो हमने हिल क्लाइंब बहुत अच्छी तरह से परफॉर्म किया और काफ़ी बाकी टीम्स के मुकाबले हम काफ़ी आगे हैं।
Most buggies managed to clear the acceleration, braking and maneuverability tests without breaking much of a sweat. But the final test, suspension and traction, is anything but. In fact, it almost serves as a preview to the final endurance race, thanks to its numerous obstacles including concrete humps, logs, tabletops and even axle breakers.
There are lots of difficulties in suspension test. There are almost 12 to 15 inches deep bumps. There are logs, there are big stones. So it is quite a difficult task.
Designed to test suspension and traction, the course also doubles up as a test of a more basic parameter, ground clearance. Build your buggy too low, don't leave enough travel in your suspension, and pretty soon you will find yourself grounded.
सस्पेंशन एंड ट्रैक्शन में हमको थोड़ी दिक्कत आई। हमारा सस्पेंशन जो गाड़ी व्हीकल हमारा कई जगह पे अटका, पर उसको हमने ओवरकम किया, फिर भी वो काफ़ी अच्छा रहा। उसके लिए हमने खास स्पेशली सस्पेंशन डिज़ाइन हम लोगों ने खुद से किया है। रेयर में ट्रेलिंग आर्म लगाए असेंबल किया है, जो कि काफ़ी हेल्प करता है अपने व्हीकल को टू स्टेयर इन द स्ट्रेट डायरेक्शन। फ्रंट व्हील में कास्टर दिया है, जिससे रिटर्नेबिलिटी हमको अचीव होती है।
Teams that came well prepared and especially drivers who pushed hard were rewarded with spectacular splashes, jumps and the best times. Yet, this challenge proved to be a true litmus test, whittling down the 110 finalists to 74. Well, we've reached the end of the penultimate day here at Mahindra Baja 2015, and most teams have completed all the challenges and tests that have been thrown their way. That means it's only the endurance test that is left, and we'll get that for you after this commercial break.